then I think most of you saw my message on WhatsApp about our theme for today. So I can't even remember what the theme is, but I've got a whole lot of other things to say. But just simplicity, you know. I've come to see that during this time, it's so important to just come back to simplicity. And even, you know, even if my body's tired and my mind is tired, when I just do simple standing postures and inversions, which is very classical Iyengar, then it automatically rejuvenates my energy. It's like, okay, it just brings me into that center space so that I can become a little bit more quiet and completely, you know, grounded in myself. And the two, in fact, let me start by saying that a big realization during this time is that tequila is only a partial distraction and is not a complete solution. Okay, I mean, whatever your thing is, I'm just joking because I do like tequila, but it helps temporarily, but it doesn't really resolve like the deeper lying emotions that we're all going through. It's like a good, you know, kind of distraction for a moment. But, you know, I keep on realizing that I need to come back to the ancient texts and that I need to use the sacred shamanic tools that the ancient texts suggest. And ultimately, I have to do the work. So yes, sometimes it's nice to just switch off and have a moment of relief. But at the end of the day, I think all of us are being called to do the deeper untangling inside ourselves. And I mentioned, you know, attachment and aversion, which is in yoga, two of the biggest things that take us away from our ultimate freedom. So, and that's attachment is raga, and aversion is dvesha. So I'm going to read out of the Yoga Sutras, which I don't often do, but I'm going to do it anyway today. Sounds like kind of biblical, but there's a lot of wisdom in these ancient texts. And I mean, you know, they've been around for thousands of years. And basically the ancient people struggled with the same mental like struggles that we have today. And I mean, most of the suffering that we go through is because of the way we think. And that's such a bitter pill to swallow, because it's much easier to blame the situation or blame somebody else. But at the end of the day, the choice is inside each one of us, and we can decide how we want to feel, how we respond to the situation. It doesn't make the situation right or wrong. And of course, we're going to adjust our lives to not invite situations that completely throw us off our center all the time. But at the end of the day, you know, the switch is internal. So in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, in Sutra 2.3, it talks about the afflictions, which is basically what takes us away. That, like, the ultimate goal of yoga is freedom. I mean, all of us just want to feel expansive and free. So we use all kinds of shortcuts to get there. Tequila is one of them, but it's not lasting. Okay, so we need to do other work that can give us a more permanent state of freedom. So the 5 afflictions that prevent us from coming into that freedom, it is that disturb the equilibrium of our consciousness are ignorance or lack of wisdom, ego or pride of the ego or the sense of I, attachment to pleasure, aversion to pain, and fear of death or clinging to life. So those are the 5 things that really pull us off our center. And for me, it's so obvious, you know, the attachment and the aversion, because we're attached to feeling pleasure. So we have a memory of what makes us feel nice, and then we want more of that, whatever it is. And we have a memory of what doesn't make us feel good, and then we push it away. And in that attachment aversion, in this game of attachment aversion, we actually never at peace inside ourselves. But, you know, if we can get to a place where we just kind of accept whatever's unfolding, and we look at it very objectively, which is the hardest thing. Lillian and I were talking about this on the weekend. It's the hardest thing when you're in a situation to do that, where you just step away. But if we're able to do that and we don't go into the attachment aversion dance, then there's much less suffering and the situation passes much quicker. So anyway, so today is just going to be standing on our own 2 feet and just coming into that center space. You know, like standing postures is one tool, how we can come into that space where we don't get pulled too much by attachment and aversion. So we're going to start seated. And for those of you with tighter hamstrings or lower back niggles, or if you have tight hip flexors or sore knees, then please come and sit on a block or 2 blocks, whatever you need. Otherwise, you can sit flat on the floor. But before you sit flat on the floor, just take your belt or your scarf and make a loop in the belt or scarf. Some of you might need that. And for those of you who do have sore knees or sore hips or tight hamstrings or whatever it is, just make a blanket roll, because you might also want to just use that to get a bit more comfort in your seat. And then once you've got whatever props it is that you're needing, come and sit in Dandasana. So your mat is orientated in this horizontal direction, and you're facing forward directly towards the camera so that you can easily see me. And at any point today, I'm not going to call you to come closer as much as I normally do, but at any point, if you can't see the detail of something, then please feel free to just come closer to the camera so that you can see a little easier. And then, so your legs are stretched out in front of you. If you're seated upright like this and you're rolling back, then that's a sign that you need to sit on some height. Once you're seated, take your buttock flesh and draw your buttock flesh backwards so that you're seated on your sitting bones, and extend into your heels. And then just either bring your fingertips or the palms of your hands directly beside your body, elbows slightly back. Just lift up your spine. Just finding a moment of quiet as you settle down. And then we're going to begin with I'm going to mirror you, right leg crossed in front of your left leg. So in the middle of your shins, so swastikasana. Sukhasana is more like at the ankles. Swastikasana is right at the shin bone. So across there, it goes to a deeper area of the outer hips. And then for those of you who can't settle the knees down easily, or you have knee or hip or lower back a sensitivity, then take a blanket and take that blanket roll and just bring it into your shin bone so that you can rest your knees down easily. Your belt is just next to you for the moment. And then reset your sitting bones by taking your buttock flesh back and coming to seated on your sitting bones. And then for a moment, rest your hands onto your inner thighs. Your elbows draw back and down, and lift up your spine. And then when you feel ready, bring your palms of your hands together and just check that your hands are touching equally. So your right and your left palm equally pressing against each other, and draw your hands a little bit lower down so that it's at your lower sternum area. And then again, when you're ready in your own timing, just let your top eyelid soften onto your bottom eyelid so that your eyes come closed. Drawing your attention inward and also downward into the foundation of the posture, and feel your sitting bones root down. Feel your inner groins root down. Your upper buttock area root down. And then coil your tailbone towards your pubic bone and draw your pubic bone back towards your tailbone so that you create that connection at the base of your spine so that the pelvic floor lifts up the spine. And for today, let the pelvic floor lift to the base of your skull rather than the crown of your head. So you're lifting it up to the base of your skull so that the head can remain quiet, but the spine is alert. Bring your shoulder blades deep into your back and lift up your chest. Relax the tops of your shoulders down your back, away from your neck. Soften your throat. Relax your jaw and your tongue. And let your eyeballs soften away from your eyelids, back to the base of your skull, and then let them roll down towards your heart space. The crown of your head just ease upward to the sky. Just within this centering structure that you've created with your body, allow your breath to flow with ease in and out of the passages of your nostrils. We'll open with one chant of Om. Exhale completely. And inhale deeply. Take a moment to bow your head to your heart. Make your own inner acknowledgements. And then release the backs of your hands onto your thighs. Very softly let your eyes open. And then from there, just raise your head up. And staying seated with your right leg crossed in front. I just want to check that everybody's muted. I think I heard one person. Just check. Yeah. One or two people. Okay, that's great. Can everybody hear me well? Just give me a thumbs up when I'm at the back. Is the audio working? Okay, awesome. So keeping your right leg in front. Now bring your arms out in front of you and bring your right index finger above your left index finger. Invert your palms and then reach your arms up and over your head. Straighten, lock your elbows, look straight ahead. And then from here, bring your tailbone to your pubic bone, bring your pubic plate back to your tailbone. And feel that essentially as you bring them together, you're lifting the energy from the base of your spine to the base of your skull. So Feruza, our Indian teacher, says that when you lift the spine to there, the head remains more quiet. And it's quite interesting to feel it. You guys can experiment and explore with that instruction. But it really does feel quite soft in the lift. So the brain remains quiet. And now from there, exhale, release your arms out to the side. Walk your right hand over to your right side in line with your right hip. If you can, you bring the elbow down, but it's not necessary. And then reach your left arm up and over. Turn the palm to face behind you, the armpit, left armpit down. And then once you've stretched maximum over to your right side, sit your left sitting bone down and turn your abdomen and turn your chest open to the sky and look underneath your left armpit. So if you guys see me looking to that side, I'm just looking on the bigger screen. Inhale, come back up. Walk your left hand over to your left side in line with your left hip. Again, if it's possible, bring the elbow down, but it's not necessary. And then from there, bring your right arm up and over. Turn the palm to face behind you so that the right armpit faces down. Once you've got your fullest stretch, then sit your right sitting bone down and spiral your abdomen and your chest and your head to look up. Ruth, you can take your arm a bit more over to your left side. Keep going. Yes, that's it. Inhale, come back up to center. And now from here, take your scarf or your belt loop and just bring it around your right thigh. Some of you might use it, some of you might not, but it's okay. Just have it there so that this belt is kind of towards the left hip, the front of the hip. And then from there, bring your right hand behind you and hold on to your right knee with your left hand. Your right fingertips are facing backward. Your chest is turning backward, but look forward towards the camera. And now take your right arm and wrap it around. And if you can, grab the inside of your left thigh with your right hand, or your belt or your scarf is there, so you can hold on to that. And then pull both your elbows back and now turn your abdomen and turn your chest over to your right side. So make sure that you're holding onto something with your right hand towards that left thigh, either the thigh itself or your scarf. Yeah, so that the arm really gets into that kidney band area. And now lift up your spine as you inhale. So Lillian, your scarf needs to be over your left thigh, on the left side. Yeah, yes, Marilla, you as well, yes. And then you're twisting to your right side. And with your right hand, you're holding onto that left thigh or that left scarf. Yeah, and then you can pull your elbows to the back plane of your body. Lift up through the center line. And then you turn, you spiral around your central axis. Keep your abdomen broadly back and up. And then from there, exhale, release to turn forward. Your right leg is still in front of you. And now take your scarf or your belt around your right thigh. So if you didn't use it, then you don't need it. But those of you using it, please have it around your right thigh. Bring your left fingers behind you, facing backward. Hold on to your left knee with your right hand. Look forward for a moment, but turn your chest to your left side. And then wrap your left hand around and either take hold of the inside of that right thigh, or you take hold of your belt or scarf. And then from there, pull with your hands and now turn your abdomen, your chest, your head to your left side. So you'll feel that because you're holding onto something on that right side, that the shoulder blades can come deeper into your back and you can really work into that kidney band area. And take your right hand onto your left knee. So that then you've got another, yes, then you can pull with that hand and pulling the elbows back. Those of you with longer arms, you can also take the top of your right wrist over. So if it feels too strong in the shoulders, you can just bring your wrist over. I'll show in the next round. Inhale, you lengthen your spine, abdomen back, and exhale, you turn around the central axis of your body. And then from there, exhale, release. Come back to the center. And now from there, walk your hands forward, a little bit wider than your shoulders. And then fold your body forward to wherever your body goes. If you can rest your head on the floor, do that. Otherwise, just relax your head and your neck. Relax your shoulders. Just arriving in your body, arriving in your own internal space without attachment or aversion. And then from there, slowly come back up. Straighten your legs out in front of you, back into Dandasana. If you are on support, just stay on your support. Those of you using a blanket, have it close by. And we're going to change the cross of the leg. So now bring your left leg in front of your right leg. Again, cross in the middle of your shins. So it's swastikasana. Sukhasana is where you cross the ankles, but here we're crossing deeper so you can get to the outer hips. Take your buttock flesh, draw it backwards. So you seated on the knuckles of your sitting bones. And then draw your arms forward and bring your left index finger above your right. Invert your palms, push your palms of your hands away, lock your elbows, and now take your arms up and over your head. So once again, just coming from the base of your spine. So you draw your tailbone and your pubic bone towards each other so that you lift from the pelvic floor up the spine to the base of your skull for today. So the crown of the head just keeps lifting, and the head is quiet, especially the frontal lobes of the brain, which is like the habitual thinking mind. Quieten that, but lift the spine to the base of your skull. And then on the next exhalation, release your arms. Walk your right hand again over to your right side, left arm up and over, turn your body open to the sky. So going to the right side, Carmela, you were right? Go on the right side, yeah, that's it. And then spiraling open. Breathe into that left side body. Breathe into your left ribs. Inhale, come back up. Now walk your left hand over to your left side. Reach your right arm up and over. And again, take your time to find the opening as you go over. Breathing into the right side ribs. Breathing into that right lung. Take your palm of your hand down, Shai, to face down to the floor. Yes, that's it. Yeah. Inhale to come back up to the center. So if you were using a scarf or a belt, then again, you're going to take it around your left thigh to start. If you are not using one and you can grab your inner thigh, then you're just going to keep away from the belt. Bring your right hand behind you. Hold on to your right knee with your left hand. So for some of you, if you've got longer arms, maybe you want to bring the top of your wrist over. You can also do that. And then turn your chest, but look forward for a moment. Take your right hand, wrap it around, either hold on to the inside of your left thigh or grab hold of your belt. And then turn your abdomen, your chest, your head to your right side. So you're looking over your right shoulder and turning your whole body to the right side. Release, come back to the center. Those of you using a belt or a scarf, it'll be around your right thigh now. Bring your left fingertips behind you. Take hold of your left knee with your right hand, or those of you going for the other option, you'll take your wrist over, and then turn your chest to your left, but look forward for a moment towards the camera. Wrap your left arm around and hold on to either the inside of the thigh or take hold of your belt or your scarf. And then from there, turn your abdomen, turn your chest, turn your head to look to your left side. Release back to the center. And now walk your hands forward so that you have your hands a little wider than your shoulders and let your upper body surrender down towards the floor. Relaxing your shoulders. Relax your head and your neck. And just arriving without any attachment or aversion, even to your own thoughts. And then from there, inhale, come back up. Straighten out your legs in front of you, Dandasana. And then when you are ready, coming into Adho Mukha Virasana. So your big toes together, your knees apart, and sitting back with your buttocks onto your heels, arms forward, but relax your elbows. If you need support for your head, please take it. And just relaxing for a moment. Feeling that connection to the earth. To the earth that you're going to be standing on today during the standing postures. Just honoring that support underneath you. So for those of you with any shoulder conditions, if you would like to skip your downward facing dog, you can come straight into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Those of you who are coming into dog stretch, come up now and tuck your toes under and press down through your heels, straightening your legs, straightening your arms, relax your head and your neck. So if you find this is too strong on your shoulders, you'll just be already in a forward fold at the front of your mat. Otherwise, staying in your dog stretch for a few breaths here. If your hamstrings are tighter, make sure you know where your blocks are and take your blocks to the front of your mat. Fingers spread wide. Let your index fingers face directly forward. Externally rotate your upper arm bones. So your inner upper arms roll up and out. From the middle of your calf muscles, root down through your heels. Draw your thigh muscles up onto your thigh bones. And broadly spread your abdomen back to your lower spine. Again, just that simplicity of being in the moment. Now walk your feet forward to your hands. Feet together. Use blocks for your hands if you need it. If your hamstrings are tighter, come into Uttanasana. Draw up all 4 sets of thigh muscles. So your front thighs, your back thighs, your inner thighs, your outer thighs. Draw them up. And let your upper body release and relax. To your capacity, let your legs come straighter, but let your upper body relax and release. Let your head relax. Keep your abdomen back to your spine. On the next inhalation, reach your arms all the way up to come to standing. And then coming into Tadasana. So come and stand in the center of your mat, facing directly forward. Again, if for some reason you're not able to see from the distance where you are, then you're welcome to come closer at any point. But we're going to start very simply in mountain pose. You all saw the mountain I posted. I think most of you have been on that walk, either with me or on your own. So it's, you know, what it's those 12 apostles, they're very, very steady. So they look like they're free of attachment and aversion. So that's what we're going to do here, mountain pose. Bring your big toes together, inner ankles to touch. Spread your toes. Lift your spine and stretch your arms out beside your body and stretch into your fingertips. And look straight ahead. And when you feel ready, you're going to close your eyes. So bring your top eyelid onto your bottom eyelid and stay steady as a mountain. You'll notice the moment you close your eyes, there might be a little bit of swaying from side to side or back to front. That's okay, it's normal. Just notice it and see, can you keep catching yourself in your center? Root down through all 4 corners of your feet. Draw all sets of thigh muscles onto your thigh bone. So you draw your front thighs, your back thighs, your inner thighs, your outer thighs. Draw them all up. So your legs are super strong. Inner groins, roll them back. Compact your outer hips. Bring them into the midline. So you're feeling this. Your eyes are closed. You're feeling these actions inside you. Feel your tailbone to your pubic bone. your pubic bone moving back to your tailbone. And now feel that lift of your spine up to the base of your skull. Shoulders into your back. Open your heart space. Relax your throat. Relax your eyes. And just feeling that lightness as the crown of your head lifts up. And very gently let your eyes open. And now, next posture, we're going into Vrikshasana. Just observe for a moment. So you'll take your right hand and take your right thigh to your left thigh. Okay, so we'll do it together. Find a steady place in front of you where you can look. Root down, left leg is in Tadasana. Take hold of your right ankle and bring your right sole of your foot to your left inner thigh. So before you let go of this right ankle, take your outer left hip into the midline and push your right foot into your left inner thigh. So there's a feeling of compactness, and then bring your hands together at your heart. Take your right sitting bone forward to your pelvis and draw this right inner thigh back. Tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. And then from there, grow your tree, reaching up to the sky. Find a steady place to look in front of you. It's just that unwavering stability. Strong tree, a strong old shamanic tree. Wow, amazing. And then from there, release. Sure, everybody's like in their zone. It's beautiful. Okay, so coming to stand in Tadasana. Now balance on your right foot. Again, take hold of your left ankle with your left hand and hold on to the ankle for some time. So find a steady gazing place in front of you. Push this outer right hip and thigh towards your left foot and press your left sole of your foot towards your inner right thigh. So it's really creating a super strong stability. Then bring your hands to your heart. Bring your left sitting bone forward. Bring your left inner thigh back. Tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. And then from that connection in your center line, reach your arms up and grow your tree. Just feeling that stability of the moment. Exhale, release, come back into Tadasana. And now from there, I'm not going to demonstrate. We can do this together because you're all familiar with the standing poses. So Trikonasana, I'd like to say one thing though. Those of you that were here the day that we were practicing with the belt in the thigh, remember that belt in your thigh. Okay, bending your knees, fingertips to touch, abdomen broadly back and up. And then from there, jump your feet apart. So keep your arms stretched out. And for today, starting with your left foot, root down through your left heel, turn your left toes in. Root down through your right heel, turn your right leg out. Your torso is directly in the center. And first stay here, root down through your feet. Draw your thigh muscles onto your thigh bones into your hips, and lift up your spine. On the exhalation, take this outer right thigh towards your left inner thigh as you reach over, and then bring your right hand onto your shin and reach your left arm up. You can either look down if you feel your neck is taking a little bit of strain today, or look up towards your left hand. Now keeping that outer right thigh strongly drawing towards your left inner thigh. Tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. So you lengthen your spine to the base of your skull. And then turn your abdomen, turn your chest up to the sky. And some of you can relax a little bit more into the back plane of your body. Carmela, you can relax a little bit back towards that cupboard behind you. Yes. Keeping your thigh muscles drawing up. Inhale, come up. Square your feet forward. Keep your arms stretched out. Turn, press into your right heel, turn the right toes in. Press into your left heel, turn the whole left leg out to the side. And first stay here in the center. Your torso is directly above your hips. Draw up all your thigh muscles onto the thigh bones into your hips, and lift up your spine. And now take this outer left hip, take it towards your right inner thigh as you bring your left hand onto your shin, your right arm up, and either if you feel a sensitivity in your neck, look down. Otherwise, you're going to look up towards your right hand. Keep that outer left thigh drawing towards your right inner thigh. Tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. Find the length in your spine to the base of your skull. And then turn your abdomen, turn your chest open to the sky. And again, see there's a resting into the back plane of your body. That's it, Lillian. Inhale, come back up, square your feet forward, and then jump your feet together. Now, Virabhadrasana 2, we're going to do it together, Warrior 2. And bend your knees, abdomen back to your spine, and then jump your feet apart, stretching into your fingers. Okay, and establishing your back foot first. So your left toes, turn them in, turn the whole of your right leg out to the side. Keep this outer right hip moving towards your left inner thigh. And then from there, bend your right knee directly above your ankle, but let your torso stay directly above your hips. And like you did in Vrikshasana earlier on in the tree pose, take this right sitting bone and pull it forward to your pelvis and take this inner thigh back. Arms stretched out. Take your chest towards your left side and look over your right hand. Tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. Lift the energy up your spine. Toop, bring your right arm down a little bit. Yes, and your left arm up a little bit so they're in line with each other. Yes. Stretch into your fingers. Find that steadiness, that stillness. Inhale, come back up. Square your feet forward. Now turn your right toes in, your whole left leg out, and then bend your left knee directly above your ankle. But as you do that, this outer left hip, draw it back towards your right inner thigh, and check that your torso is not leaning forward or backwards. It's directly above your hips. And like you did in Vrikshasana, again, bring this left sitting bone, scoop it forward towards your pelvis, left inner thigh going back, and then take your chest and draw it towards your right side and take your gaze over your left hand. So a sense of becoming quiet in your power. Find your center line, tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone, and lift the energy up to the base of your skull. Head quiet. Inhale, come back up. Square your feet forward. And then jump your feet together. If you've got lower back, like sensitivity, rather step. So coming back to the center. So next one, Pajvakonasana. I'll demonstrate this. So if you can see from where you are, then stay there. I'm just going to do it backwards so you can see my backside. So just observe first. We'll do it together in a moment. When you bring your hand down, I would suggest using a block. You can use it on whichever height you need it. But make sure that your block is going to be right next to the ankle. And this outer right knee and thigh, you want to hit onto your arm. So you get that drawing of the outer hip back towards the inner thigh. And you come into position. Okay, so put your blocks onto the back edge of your mat. So if I'm mirroring you, it'll be to the back side. On whichever height, you might need to turn them up. You'll just see what works for your body. And then come and stand in the center of your mat. But make sure that you're a bit forward of your blocks. And then come and stand with your fingers to touch. Bend your knees. Abdomen back and up. And now jump your feet apart. Stretch into your fingers and at the same time plug your arm bones back into your shoulders. Turn your left toes in. Turn your whole right leg out. We'll come into Virabhadrasana 2. So bending that right knee above the ankle. So already your chest is turning to your left side. Your abdomen is turning to your left side. You want to maintain that. And now bring your right hand onto your block next to your right ankle. Hit that right outer knee onto the upper arm and then reach your left arm up and over your ear. Neck sensitivity, look down. Otherwise, look underneath your armpit. And now keep moving that right upper arm and outer knee against each other so that you use it as a fulcrum to turn your abdomen and turn your chest, spiral it open to the sky. Draw a little bit more weight into your left foot. So watch that you're not over bending into that right knee. Yes, Carmela, you can also do that. Bring your left inner thigh to your outer thigh and root down through the outer edge of your left foot. So that's the brain of the posture. And then stretch your left hand and your left foot away from each other. So you get the whole extension of your side body. Shall I take your left arm over your ear? That's it. And now inhale, swing your left arm up, come up, square your feet forward. And then from here, turn your right toes in. Turn your whole left leg out to the side. Bend your left knee like warrior 2. Already your abdomen and your chest is turning to your right side. Keep that. And then bring your left hand onto your block. Bring it right next to your ankle. And then bring your right arm up and over your ear. And keep that connection between your left upper arm and your left outer knee and thigh. Use that as a fulcrum to turn your abdomen and turn your chest open to the sky. So keeping the brain in that right outer foot by moving your right inner thigh to outer thigh. And then I'll take your right arm over the ear. Yes, that's it. Stretch your right hand and your right foot away from each other. So you extend the side of your body. Very nice. That's it. Throat soft. Just feeling that stillness in your power. Lillian, you can keep your hand on your hip. Yeah. Inhale, slowly come up, square your feet. And then from there, jump or step your feet together in the center of your mat. Tadasana. Just returning back to neutral. Take your blocks off your mat. And then just make sure that you can see me from where you are standing. So for the next one, for Parshvottanasana, I'd just like to demonstrate. So if possible, you're going to take your hands into Paschima Namaskar. If that doesn't work, you'll be holding onto your opposite elbows. But what I would like to show you is that when we come into the posture, you're going to turn a little bit onto the left foot and then turn your right leg out. But now to get this wrapping of this left hip around, what you need to do for a moment is you're going to lift the heel up and then root that heel down, so that the brain of the posture remains in that back heel. So this inner groin is rolling back, that outer left hip rolling forward. And then from there, we're going to go into the posture, folding over that front leg. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how the back leg orientates. Come and stand in the center of your mat. Feet together, reach your arms out to the side. And then either take your palms of your hands together in Paschimma Namaskar, or hold on to your opposite elbows. Whatever you can manage with your shoulders today, don't overdo it. Then bend your knees, and from there, jump your feet apart. So we're going to start with turning the back toes in slightly. Turn the whole of your right leg out, 90 degrees. And now lift your left heel up to wrap that outer left hip forward. And then root your left heel down. Both your legs are straight. Draw all your thigh muscles onto your thigh bones. Stay here. Coil your tailbone to your pubic bone to your tailbone. Lift your chest. Open your throat. So you lean back slightly like you're going to do a back bend. And then from there, exhale, fold forward over your right leg. So you bring your abdomen and your chest over your right leg as you fold forward. If you know you have a tendency to hyperextend, then you need to make a little bend in that right knee, but keep the thigh muscles drawing up. Lengthen your spine forward and then down over the leg. So the forward action, most important. Those of you, well, everybody in fact, whether you're holding your elbows or your palms are together, lift your elbows up to the sky. Open your heart. Yes, that's it. Relax the tops of your shoulders down your back, away from your ears. And then inhale, slowly come back up. Keep your hand position, sway your feet. Those of you holding onto the opposite elbows, you will now change your elbows. Those of you with your hands in Paschimma Namaskar, see if you can keep that. And then from there, turn your right toe slightly in. Turn your whole left leg out. Now again, lift your right heel up and wrap that right hip around. And then root your right heel down. Both your legs are straight. Draw up your thigh muscles onto your thigh bones. Coil your tailbone to your pubic bone to your tailbone. Lift your spine and lean slightly back. Open your throat. And then from there, slowly folding forward over that left leg. Turning your abdomen, your chest over that left leg. Those of you with hyperextended knees, be aware that you need to keep a little micro bend in that left knee. Lengthen your spine forward. Elbows up to the sky. Tops of your shoulders away from your neck. Inhale, come back up. Square your feet forward, jump your feet together, and then release your arms. Okay, so next one I'll demonstrate. Again, if you can see easily where you are, then you can stay there. Otherwise, you can come closer. So if you know that you've got tighter hamstrings, I would suggest making a little loop in your belt. Maybe the size, you know what the discrepancy is of your hamstrings, but let's say like that type of size, okay? And I'll just demonstrate that first, which you will then use a loop around the ball of your foot. And we can do a measure in a moment, but I just wanted to demonstrate you will be using a loop if your hamstrings are tighter. Those of you with more open hamstrings, you're going to be catching the big toe. So please observe. So you'll take hold of your big toe And we're going to do the Uttita Hasta Parangustasana sequence, finding a space in front of you to look at. Ooh. And then we'll do the revolved one as well. And then taking the leg with both your hands. Okay, so do a little test and check, can you keep your spine straight and can you keep your body straight, your leg straight if you catch your right big toe? So that'll be the measure. If you can keep your spine straight and you can keep your leg straight, then you can hold on to the big toe with your first two fingers and your thumb. Otherwise, take your scarf or your loop and just take a measurement there and see how big you need that loop. And then let it go again. So you just, this is just to measure, so you know what's appropriate for you. And then come and stand in Tadasana. The question.
Yeah, just about the shoulder when you're grabbing the big toe, how far can that come?
So you've got to actually draw it back in.
Okay.
I think maybe my demonstration was very fast. So, but yeah, you've got to, so as much as you pulling the toe away from you, you've got to pull it back in. So there's that paksha, pratipaksha, both directions. Okay, so start with your left hand onto your hip and root down through that left foot, draw the thigh muscles up. So you establish that right leg, and then from there, take hold of your right big toe and straighten the leg forward, or you're taking hold of your loop. So as much as you're pushing into the big toe, ball mount, you're pulling the arm back into your shoulder socket. Now, take your left arm up, find a steady place to look in front of you, compact your hips, and then from there, slowly taking your right leg out to the side, left arm out to the left side, finding your balance there, nice. Bring that right hip, externally rotate the femur bone, so you take the outer right hip down. And now bring that right leg forward once again. And then we're going to reverse. So you're going to hold on to either the outside of your right foot with your left hand, or you're holding onto your loop. And then draw your right arm back. And if it's possible, gaze backwards. Keep that external rotation of this right thigh down. Very nice. That's it. So your left hand is holding onto your loop, or your left hand is holding onto your foot. And now slowly come back to the center. Take hold of your loop or your foot with both of your hands. And see, can you fold your body forward over your leg for a moment? And then let your foot go. So the cool thing about these kinds of balancing postures is that we can't think about our problems when we're in them, okay? It takes all our concentration. So stand into your right foot, draw up your right thigh muscles, find that balance. You can start with your right hand on your hip and then either catch your left big toe or catch your belt, whatever you're using, and straighten the leg out. Again, keep the upper arm bone plugged into your shoulder socket, compact your outer hips. Find a steady gazing place in front of you. Then take your right arm up. And now taking your left leg out to the left side, right arm out to your right side. And there's an external rotation in this left femur bone. So you're rolling that outer left hip down to the floor. Keep your torso in the center. Very nice. Now, slowly bring that left leg forward. And you're going to change your holding. So you're holding onto that outer left foot with your right hand, or your loop with your right hand. Your left arm going back to the left side and maybe looking over that left shoulder. Keep the external rotation of this left thigh. So that outer hip rolls down. Super. And then slowly come back to the center. Hold your left foot or your loop with both your hands, and for a moment fold over that left leg. And then from there, Release your leg and come to stand. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to take a little pause in Prasarita. Feet together, hands on your hips. Bend your knees, jump your feet apart. Those of you with tighter hamstrings, you'll have 2 blocks in front of you. And then drawing up your thighs, lift your spine, inhale. Exhale, fold forward from your hips. And you either bringing your hands under your shoulders here, or those of you who have more open hamstrings, you can take your hands onto the floor and walk your hands back and bring the crown of your head towards the earth. So take whatever variation works for your body. Just allowing your upper body now to release. Just a neutralizing moment. Heel toe, your feet a little closer together. Those of you with your hands further back, bring your hands forward under your shoulders, and then bring your hands onto your hips. Lift your chest, come up to standing, and jump your feet together. Good. Okay. So coming into Utkatasana now, going to keep your feet together and then hands on your hips for the moment, bend your knees. So you're just facing directly towards the camera, but I'm going to show you from the side. So sit down as deep as you can. Your upper buttocks moving back and down, your chest moving forward and up. And you've all squeezed a block with me before. Imagine you squeezing a block between your thighs backward. Reach your arms up, palms facing each other, and sit down nice and deep. Come back to that action of your tailbone to your pubic bone to your tailbone, so that you lift the energy up from the base of your spine to the base of your skull. Open your throat and look slightly upward. Outer upper arm area, roll it forward. And then from there, release. Come back to standing in Tadasana. So last few standing poses. Hands onto your hips. Bend your knees, and we're going to go for Garudasana, legs first. So you can observe for a moment, then we'll do it together. So the right thigh on top of the left thigh, or those of you who can, you'll hook the big toe around. So see what works for your body. Bend your knees, balance on your left foot. Keep that left knee bent, and I'll stack your right thigh on top of your left thigh. If you can, you hook this right big toe around the left ankle. And then sit down a little deeper. Compact your outer hips, tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. Just looking straight ahead. Find the balance there. And then exhale, release. Very nice. Now we'll change sides. So again, coming into Utkatasana, balance on your right foot. Hands stay on your hips. Take your left thigh on top of your right thigh. Those of you who can, you'll hook the big toe around. Just be careful, if your knees are sensitive, then don't hook the big toe. Compact your outer hips. Your hands are already there, so you can guide your hips closer together. Upper buttocks down, abdomen back and up. Find a steady gazing place in front of you. And then release. Very nice. Okay, we'll do the arms. So reach your arms out to the side. Take your right arm underneath your left arm. Intertwine them, wrap your arms around each other. And then you bring the fingers of the one hand to the palm of the other hand. Try to keep the wrists straight. Lift your elbows upward, but drop the tops of your shoulders down. And then you draw your hands away from your face. So you get a nice strong opening of your wings. Centering in the moment. Then release your arms out to the side. Bring your left arm now underneath your right arm. Intertwine your arms. Bring your hands together so that the fingers of the one hand come to the palm of the other hand, and try straighten your wrists as best as you can. Lift your elbows up. Drop your shoulders down. So they're two opposing actions simultaneously, and then draw your hands away from your face so that you spread your wings, finding that space. And then release your arms out. Now the legs and the arms. So when the right leg goes over, the right arm comes under. Come back into Utkatasana. Start with the legs, bend your knees. Take your right leg over your left leg. Right arm under your left arm. And come into Garudasana. Just beyond that attachment and aversion, just that stillness, that equanimity. And then release. Beautiful. Now again, come into Utkatasana. First taking the leg, left leg over, and then left arm under. And finding the stillness, the expansion and the freedom of that eagle pose. Beautiful. And then exhale, release, coming to stand. Okay. One last standing pose here, Virabhadrasana 1. I just want to point out again this turning when we in the posture, the turning of the back foot, and then the lifting of the heel, the rooting down of that left heel, which is the brain of the posture. So this outer left hip wraps forward, and then against that resistance, you're going to bend your right knee. Okay. So coming to stand in the center, fingertips to touch, abdomen back to your spine. And now jump your feet apart. Take your arms up, bring your palms of your hands together, and roll your outer upper arm area forward. Turn your left toes in, turn the whole of your right leg out, 90 degrees, lift your left heel up, step your left heel back, and then wrapping, because you're wrapping that outer left hip forward. Keep your right leg straight for the moment. With the rooting of that left heel down and that resistance, now begin to bend your right knee. Drawing your outer left hip forward, outer right hip back. Coil your tailbone to your pubic bone to your tailbone. Makes me in Virabhadrasana 1. So as you bring tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone, lift up the center line of your spine to the base of your skull, crown of your head quiet. Keep your arms up. If possible, come back to the center. Square your feet. Very good for the heart and the lungs when the arms stay up. Turn your right toes in. Turn your whole left leg out to the side. And now, lift your right heel up. Wrap that right hip forward. And then root that right heel down. Left leg is straight for the moment. From the brain of that right heel bending, that right heel rooting, from there begin to bend the left knee. So you've got like this anchor in that right foot. And then you bend the left knee. Wrapping that outer right hip forward, outer left hip back. tailbone to pubic bone to tailbone. Lift up your central channel of your spine to the base of your skull. Some of you need to bring your lower front ribs in a little more. And then inhale, come back to the center, square your feet, arms out to the side, and jump your feet together. Okay, so if you have tighter hamstrings, know where your blocks are, and then come and rest everybody in Adho Mukha Virasana. Big toes together, relax your forehead onto the floor. Let your elbows relax, let your arms relax. And just an honoring of that earth element that holds us. Feel your breath, feel your heartbeat. From there, come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Again, if you have sensitive shoulders, you can go straight away into Uttanasana. Otherwise, coming into your dog stretch. Those of you with sensitivity in the shoulders, you can come forward and just come into your forward fold already. Whatever shape you're in, just a sense of quietening, softening. Make sure you know where your blocks are. If your hamstrings are tighter, walk your feet forward, coming to Uttanasana, letting your upper body fold forward. Hands on your blocks if you need them. Let your head be quiet. All your thigh muscles drawing up. So they're really holding you so that your upper body can relax. And standing into your feet, inhale, reach your arms up, come into Utthana. And then back into Tadasana. So everybody take a block. Some of you might want 2 blocks here. Look, I would really recommend 2 blocks. And if you have any hyperextension in your knees, then I would suggest a blanket roll as well. But come and sit on 1 block at least and stretch your legs out in front of you in Dandasana. So if you find it hurts your knees here because your legs are straightening, then put the blanket roll under your knees and you'll keep it behind one knee as we go into Marichyasana 3. Just observe first and then we'll do it together. So again, if you can't see from this far away, then rather come closer to the camera. But I'd like to show the 2 options. So one is going to be, we're all going to bend the knee. One is going to be just with the left elbow over the outer knee and turning. Those of you who feel you'd like to go further, you're going to internally rotate this left arm, wrap it around, and then catch your hands together. But please, if this is not a possibility for your shoulders today, then just be in this variation. Okay, so we'll go together. Bend up your right knee and keep some space between your foot and your thigh, but turn the toes in slightly. Left leg is active. Again, if you feel any stress behind the knee, then you've got your blanket there. Bring your right fingertips behind you, facing away from your body. Reach your left arm up, extend into your left heel. The toes are facing up. And then hook your left elbow over your right thigh and either turn from there, or those of you going further, you're going to internally rotate this upper arm and wrap the hand around and then catch your hands together or catch your left wrist with your right hand. Your right wrist with your left hand. And turn your abdomen, turn your chest, turn your head to your right side. So you're spiraling around your center. And now turn to your right side. Turn all other right. So all the way to, so this way. That's it, yeah. Few more breaths. With each inhalation, root down through your right foot and feel how when you root down, when you stand on that right foot, that you can lift your spine a little more. And with each exhalation, turn. And then from there, release. Straighten your legs out in front of you. And now to your left side. So bend up your left knee. Have a little bit of space between the foot and the thigh. Left toes turned in slightly. Right leg active. Bring your left fingers behind you, facing away from you. Again, if you feel sensitivity behind your knee, you just take a blanket and support the knee. And you'll take exactly the same variation you did on the other side. Inhale, reach your right arm up. And then hook the elbow over that outer left knee and thigh. And some of you will just turn and stay here. Those of you going further, an internal rotation in this upper arm, bringing the hand around and then catching your left wrist with your right hand or just your hands together as you turn to look over your left shoulder, turning your abdomen, turning your chest. So again, stand down through that left foot very firmly. And as you press that left foot down, feel the lift that you get in your spine. And then use that lift in your spine to turn to your left side. Working with your breath. So on the inhalation, you lift. And on the exhalation, you turn. And then from there, release, Dandasana, forward. And come and stand up, just remove your props. Again, if your hamstrings are tighter, you'll have your blocks in front of you. And we're going to come back into Prasarita Padottanasana, hands onto your hips. And then stand with your feet together. Bend your knees, abdomen back to your spine, and then jump your feet apart. Draw up your knees and your thighs, lift your spine. Exhale, fold forward from your hip crease, either bringing your hands under your shoulders and staying there, or if you can, get your hands easily onto the floor, then walking back, crown of your head towards the earth. Again, just a moment of neutralizing, quietening, coming into that simplicity beyond the attachment and the aversion, beyond the ragwa and dvesha. It's like we're liberating ourselves from our own minds. Then if your hands are under your, further back between your feet, walk your hands closer so that they come under your shoulders. Everybody walk your heel toe, your feet a little closer together. Draw up your thigh muscles and then bring your hands onto your hips. Lift your chest, come up. And then jump your feet together. Coming to stand in Tadasana. Okay, so actually, I'm going to start with the first demonstration, and then I'll give progressively all the other options as we carry on. We're going to come into Salamba Shishasana, so we're going to come into head balance. So for those of you who are happy in the middle of the room, for today, first of all, what I'd like to show you is just the basic interlock. So let me see how I can show this. So what's important is that your elbows are under your shoulders. Your fingers are interlocked at the web of your fingers. But be careful with the rolling of the forearms, because very often what happens is that the forearms roll in like that and then the hands open up too much. You want to keep the little side of your hand pulling away from you. So that type of action, so that the little side of the hand pulls away, and keep a rounding in the hands. The back of your head is going to rest on this inside of your thumb area. The crown of your head on the floor. So if you had to establish where the crown of your head is, a good way to do that is to take the wrist and bring it to the top of your nose. So in the third eye area, take your middle finger and then bring your middle finger to your middle of your head. And then that area where your middle finger is, that is your crown of your head. So that goes on the floor. The back of your head is going to go into the base of your thumbs, and the hollow of your hand stay open. Okay, so just those few details when you come in. So first option, for those of you who are comfortable to balance in the center of the room, you can practice coming up with 2 legs at a time. Okay, those of you who feel that you need a wall space, you're going to come right up against the wall, okay, with your hands into the wall, and then you'll come up with 1 leg at a time. So this will be an option for those of you who are starting out there. Okay, those of you who have any shoulder or neck things but still want to come into a head balance, you can take 2 chairs and make sure that they're the similar height, and you keep a space for your head in between the chairs as you come up, and they're at the wall, so your body comes to the wall and then you'll come up from there. So a very nice trapezius release. And then for those of you who are not inverting, if you have your moon flow, or you feel that you just want to rest your shoulders for today, you'll take your 2 blocks and you're going to come into Setu Bandha with your 2 blocks under your sacrum. Okay, so choosing one of those options, and just come and set yourself up on your mat, and then we'll go up together. So those of you with 2 chairs, set up your chairs. Those of you in the center of the room, be there. Those of you against the wall, be there. And then check when you set up your elbows, those of you on the floor, that your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. Interlock your hands at the web of your fingers and keep the hollow of your hands open, and already guide yourself to pull the little finger side of your hand away from your body. And then put your crown of your head onto the floor, the back of your head into your hands. Make sure that your elbows don't move in or out. Keep them exactly underneath your shoulders. And then come into dog stretch, Adho Mukha Svanasana, with your legs. And walk your feet in so that your hips come directly above your shoulders. And then from there, if you're at the wall, take 1 leg at a time. If you are in the center of the room, try to take 2 legs at a time up. Those of you in Setu Bandha, it looks like you've already set up, which is perfect. You can stay there. That's it. So in Setu Bandha, make sure that you're taking your upper buttock area and lengthening it towards your heel, so there's space in your lower back. Those of you in Shirsasana, work with bringing your middle buttocks forward towards your pelvis, and then your front thighs back into the back plane of your legs. That's it, Luca. Yes, super nice. Oh, that was perfect. It was so good. It was great alignment. That's it. And Marilla, roll your inner groins towards the wall and bring your big toes together. Big toes to touch. Otherwise, it goes into your lower back. You internally rotate your thighs. That's it. Nice, Megs. Compact your outer hips. And then for those of you who are in head balance, see if you can take another 2 breaths. And once you've taken your 2 breaths, come into Adho Mukha Virasana with your hands underneath your forehead. Those of you in Setu Bandha can slowly move your blocks one by one, lowering your buttocks down. And then what you will do is you will come and lie down and just hug your knees in towards your chest. So you either in Adho Mukha Virasana or you in Parvan Mukta, hugging your knees in. And then from there, roll yourself onto the side and just come up and come into everybody together into a wide-legged Uttanasana. So your legs are as wide as your sticky mat. Use your blocks if you need them and just let your head and your neck relax. Bring your hands onto your hips, lift your chest up, come up to standing. And then for shoulder balance, so if you have a set shoulder balance practice and you're using Iyengar props, you can set that up in that way. Otherwise, if you're not inverting, let me show that actually first. So those of you who are opting for not being on your shoulders or inverting, you will now just come with your legs up the wall. This is another way of accessing the shoulder stand as well. For those of you that don't go into Halasana, you can also come up from here. But if you have your moon flow or you're just resting your shoulders, you'll be here. So those of you that are taking that option, you can go so long. Those of you who are setting up for a classical shoulder stand, what I would suggest is at least 2 blankets. So you take 1 blanket in a rectangle like that and set up the smooth side towards the head side of your mat. So you'll leave a little space for your head. Then take your second blanket and bring it on top of your first blanket. And because it's not great to put your head on the sticky mat, rather open up the second blanket so that you've got a little bit of support here for your neck, but your head can also be on the soft side. And then you're going to take the bottom edge of your mat and bring it over. About a thumb's distance open here for your shoulders. Those of you setting up with Iyengar foams, they're going to be here and your 1 blanket will be over it. If your hamstrings are tight, remember you either need a wall or you need a chair behind where your legs are going to go. And then take your belt and make sure that your belt or your scarf is the size, the loop is the size of your armpit to armpit. And then I think most of you know how to go from here, but if you're uncertain, then just carry on observing. So your belt will be around your elbow, and the belt is going to go around your upper elbow points when you put it on. I'll demonstrate all of it, so if any of you need to see, you can continue to watch. Tops of your shoulders, a thumb's distance away from the edge of your blankets, head and neck straight. legs into halasana. Make sure your shoulders are on your blankets or your support. Your head is off. And then you'll take your belt or your scarf around your upper elbows. So everybody that's going in will meet in halasana here with your belt around your upper elbows and your palms of your hands facing up to the sky to bring your shoulder blades into your back. So feet in halasana, those of you going into shoulder stand, or your feet are against the wall, whichever variation works for your body. Those of you going into the classical pose, you've got your belt around your upper elbow points. Turning your palms of your hands to face up for a moment, bring your shoulder blades into your back. And then interlock your fingers for a moment and draw your hands and your feet away from each other so that you get maximum length in your spine. Making sure your head and your neck stays in line with your spine. And then from there, again, turn your palms of your hands to face up. Bend your elbows and bring your hands to support your back. Compact your outer hips, and then from there, bring your legs up into Sarvangasana. So the belt is really there to give you the support of the elbows coming closer together. Then it's easier to hold your shoulder balance. Keeping the throat soft, your eyes soft, and use the strength of your legs to lift your body up against gravity. So compact your outer hips, lift from your inner groins to your inner heels up. Again, those of you in the posture, same action as head balance. Bring your middle buttocks in, forward towards your front of your pelvis, and take your thighs back, front thighs to back thighs. That's it, Kari. Squeeze your legs together, yeah, and take the thighs back a little bit more. So shoulder stand is a front body posture. You want to open up that area of the pubic bone. And what often happens is we put too much strain on the shoulders and not enough weight in the elbows. I'm just taking a few more breaths wherever you find yourself and coming into that simplicity, again, just beyond attachment and aversion, that silent inner space. And keeping your outer hips compact, hollow your abdomen and slowly bring your legs down into halasana. Change the interlock of your fingers. And then from there, take your belt off. Turn the palms of your hands down onto your mat and very slowly unroll your body to come to lie down. Land with your knees bent, your feet on the floor. Relax your head and your neck. Just take a moment to be there. Reach one of your arms up and turn your body to the side. Those of you against the wall can also roll onto one side. And then from there, come up, and undo your mat. Make sure you are completely free from the wall or any props, but have your warm blankets and things close by. So whatever you're going to need for your Shavasana, have it close by. But before you lie down, come and have a look. We're going to do one final posture before we finish. Just to open up the throat and the thyroid area and just get a little bit of back bending action in the body. So once your mat is clear, you've got your blankets close by if you need them for your Shavasana. Have a look before you lie down. So we're going to come into Matsyasana with the hands under the buttocks. Arms are straight. You can start with your knees bent, okay? And then you're going to straighten your legs. Your hands are facing down, inner thighs together, pressing onto your elbows. So you lift up your chest. Be cautious with your neck, but you're going to rest very lightly the crown of your head onto the floor. I'm on my bola right now, but you want to rest your crown of your head. Throat open. And then from there we'll release, hug the knees in, and then you'll come to lie down in your final resting pose. So come onto your mat, bend your knees, and lie down with your arms underneath you, palms of your hands flat, and your fingers stretching towards your heels. So your wrists are most likely underneath your buttocks or underneath your thighs, depending on how long your arms are. Then straighten your legs out, inner groins rolling down, toes facing up. Press into your elbow points, lift up your chest, open your throat, and drop the crown of your head onto the floor. So if you do have a bola like me, rather take it out the way so you can bring the head to rest. Take a few breaths there. And then from there, release, lie your body down. Hug your knees in towards your chest. And just feel how your body's feeling. What do you need as a nourishing resting pose? If you need some support under your thighs, if your lower back is sensitive, please do that. If you need some support under your head for your neck, so like a folded blanket, then please take that. If it's cooler where you are and you'd like to take a blanket over your body, then do that. And make sure that you are completely comfortable. And once you've taken your preferable position for your final resting pose, then very, very consciously relaxing and releasing. So I find when I take a few exhalations and I let my exhale come through my mouth, just like I'm sighing the air out, it really helps me to let go. I had one yoga friend who really knew how to sigh. and sighing is actually very healthy in the right context. So you just sigh out and release and let go. Letting your whole body and your mind soften. So just for those of you who do have any appointments, it's just gone 10:45. If you are able to stay for another minute or two, then please do so. But if you need to go, just take note of the time that it is 10:45. Allow your breath to become slightly fuller and deeper once again. Just feeling the freedom of your breath. Bend your elbows and bring your hands either to your abdomen or to your chest. Bend your knees to step your feet onto the earth. And then reach your right arm up and roll your body onto your right side. Stay for a moment, just let your cheek rest on your upper arm, just keeping that internal softness. And then press your hands down to the earth. Slowly come up with your head last. Come and sit in whatever position feels appropriate. Bring your palms to touch. Eyes softening inward to your heart space. Spine lifted to the base of your skull. Frontal lobes of your brain quiet. And again, just that feeling of freedom, that feeling of simpleness of being, that simplicity beyond attachment and aversion. And namaste. Thank you all for your awesomeness. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you want to stay for a chat, please unmute yourself.